Hi Taurus, welcome to my channel. Jupiter will go retrograde on 20th of June. It rules our social expansion, and retrograde periods, which happen every 13 months for 4 months, are the time when our collective growth seems to slow down as we have to process where we are going. This is a natural part of the cycle. Jupiter visits a part of our chart, a part of our life, every 12 years approximately. So during these next 4 months, it would rework the opportunities in that specific area of our life, detoxing it of the social influences and excesses to make sure that's the direction we want to go for. If you've hit a wall or not able to make progress any further during the retrograde period, we would, by our own efforts, find alternative ways to move forward. The excesses are pared back, the intentions are clear, so we are sure of the direction of growth we are taking, based on our happiness and sense of fulfillment versus social pressures or old value system. Because the transit is spread across 2 zodiac signs, we would review 2 areas of your life where we would revisit the topic of growth. One is meant to help us in 2021 and the other is supposed to help us in 2022. They together define your growth patterns of 2021 and 2022. Taurus Jupiter would be going back over the subject of growth and fulfillment in your house of friends, networks, social influence, gains, investments, rewards and vision of life till 28th of July. After 28th of July till 18th of October, we would see a review of issue of growth and fulfillment from career, business leadership, public recognition. These are the 2 topics we're going to go deeper into today. This is the part 2, which is sign specific. I've covered the collective impact of the transit in part 1 of this video. Do go through the part 1, which is the overview of the transit, before going into your sign specific video, because it's a social planet. Understanding the key dates and impact on the collective is imperative to understand your personal impact as well. My name is Charu and I'm your host on this journey. So let's begin. Taurus Jupiter would be going back over the subject of growth and fulfillment in your house of friends, network, social influence, gains, investments, rewards, and vision of life till 28th of July. After 28th of July till 18th of October, we could see a review of issue of growth and fulfillment from career, business leadership, and public recognition. These are your external houses, and how you're growing in your external life would be a key focus of review over the course of next 4 months when we find a different tact or life path altogether. Jupiter this year has prompted growth in your public image, encouraging passions to help you make your mark in the world. Aim is to be recognized for the efforts you put in your professional and social life. This was last seen in 2009 for you to draw parallels for your life, and it's very much possible that the life path that you were on since 2009 might be coming to its logical release. So you're exploring what would offer you the next level of growth. The definition of growth, though, is different for different people. What is growth to you, especially in career, would be a key topic of this inward growth journey you are about to embark upon. Outer life might have expanded, and it would have been the focus of enthusiasm and expansion of efforts for the large part of this year. But Jupiter here wants to expand our options, and that's the aim of this year. But it also wants you to look at what you truly want. It wants you to look at different options which will serve you for the next 12 years, as you have changed in the past 12 years, and what is success to you has changed too. Having your career house in Aquarius sign means that you're normally in the state of the art careers, or the careers which are ahead of the curve, ahead of time. So as the times have changed, it might be time to relook at what career direction you want to stay in for the next decade of your life. This is especially true if you feel that the career growth is not coming or it's not fulfilling you, even though a lot of effort has been expended there. but something is still missing. If our career choice have been too much based off social influences, family, parents, during the retrograde period over the course of next 4 months, we would change the direction as we try to find out what fulfills us, what you truly want from life, what makes you feel successful. Are we in any ways self-sabotaging our own success curve in some ways? We would ask these very critical questions because sometimes we hold our progress back psychologically because that is not the direction that is going to fulfill us. You would be asking these critical questions for yourself not just for this year, but to set the tone for the next decade. The direction of growth from outside, which is visible to outside, might be expansive, but the inner fulfillment might still be lacking. Without the inner wisdom of your life path, without the fulfillment, you may not be able to move forward in the way that you like to. It's like moving forward without any conviction, which will not produce the kind of results you're looking for. The questions that might be roaming about, going about in your mind would be work from home or work from one's own property, because there is possibly a imbalance between work and home life that is coming to light, apart from the question of fulfillment of your own self, but also the focus on your personal life. Work for oneself versus work for a boss. What comprises dealing with authority figures, like what compromises you have to make in order to get through with authority figures both in your personal and professional life, and how that is compromising your sense of fulfillment. That question will also come up. Are there any other critical questions to ask which sort of moves you from within? Those all would be raised right now, because in the forward movement, when Jupiter is just moving forward, there's just an enthusiasm to grow and grow and grow. But in this retrospective journey, that especially I think you sort of would be right now on for the next 4 months, you would ask yourself, am I on the right path? And this could come as possibly some confrontations are faced from authority figure, from bosses or one of the parents. We might feel that we are not as supported as we were before. When Jupiter goes retrograde, a level of support from external factors, it reduces. And for you, the part of the retrograde, especially after 28th of July, is very much focused on why are things not moving forward in the direction I want in my career. And it is a positive, or Jupiter retrograde is not a negative cycle. It's always to add another level of growth to you. But that growth has to come from within. That growth has to come by your own efforts. And that growth has to come from a place of knowing what fills you up. We would realize how much of what we are doing is driven by trying to live up or live down the expectation of other people, or expectation of either a boss or a dominant person or a dominant father figure. And with that reconciliation comes the question, what do I really want? If we have started many projects, career options, which happens when Jupiter is here, because Jupiter is the planet of expansion. The opportunities expand, we explore, we try to create more knowledge about what opportunities are available for us. If we have created a lot of those options, we will try to find a niche for ourselves, because we might need to pare back excessive venturing out to narrow down the kind of projects, the kind of career options that suit us. Third decan of Taurus, or Taurus with rising sun, moon between 20 to 30 degree of Taurus, would feel this very, very strongly. It could feel like a challenge to self as well. Taurus sun born around 12th of May or after would feel this very strongly. Career would be a very critical review for you over the course of next 4 months. Think of this as a triple dose of growth, and all of you will feel this, but specifically these degrees will physically feel it. There might be a physical event which triggers that review. Think of this as a triple dose of growth. getting an extra dose of Jupiter through physical changes, through some events that trigger you to relook at your path. And some physical events happen even before 20th of July, because this retrograde, although is starting from 10th of June, but Jupiter will come in your career house only after 28th of July. Even before that, there is something more that needs to happen to instigate that review. And that instigator could be some event which happens after 20th of June. Sometimes on the heel of this Jupiter going retrograde on 20th of June, around that time, we are given something. We are shown something, we are shown something very optimistic. We're shown a vision, a positive vision, a reward, an acknowledgement, or a hope that we can be more than what we have been before. And that usually happens when Jupiter is about to go retrograde, which is around 20th of June. So 20th to 23rd of June, something might come through. It could be a network acknowledgement, like somebody in your social group acknowledging you, a person of influence acknowledging you, or you seeing a career appreciation coming through, or you see a vision of something bigger, something idealistic that you always want. Due to the degree at which Jupiter is going retrograde, we could see a much bigger plan of your life, an ideal, which makes the current circumstances or the current job or the current career we are in seem very limited in growth. We want more, and we realize that we are not going to get it if we carry on the path we are on right now by doing what we are doing on the current job, in the current career, in the current patterns of handling the authority figures. It will definitely not come from outside of ourselves. We would have to open that avenue by ourselves. Beautiful grand water trine is going to be formed between 20th to 23rd of June in your house of relationships. So there could be an encounter or a message from someone outside of you, who could be somebody who's your friend. It could be a conversation with a friend. It could be a client conversation, which shows you a much bigger plan of life. It could be a message from someone outside of you, which is very positive. It urges us to share our life with others, share our perspective, our voice. It will encourage you to be more outward focused versus what your current job is letting you do or the current career path is letting you do. It will urge you to share your perspective, your voice, your knowledge, your ability to connect with others in the way that your current path is not letting you do. And we see our ability to connect the dots, to connect the people. And the current path is not even using those skill sets that you have. And this current path was possibly seeded a decade or so back. Because when Jupiter comes here, the last time Jupiter was here was in 2009. So it's possible that, the career path you are on right now was possibly seeded around 2009. But now you want to do something else. And now it feels small in front of who you want to become. And this beautiful grand trine of 28th to 23rd of June, which you would again experience on 12th of July. But on 12th of July, there could be a powerful messaging that comes with it. It is forming a very powerful configuration with Taurus, which is called a kite configuration. Kite configuration is a very directed configuration. It makes us take action. Normally, a beautiful grand trine would be just a nice feeling. I can be more, I can do more, I'm inspired, I should do this. Maybe I should write, maybe I should go into a client-facing role, maybe I should do more in terms of being on social media. But when a kite is formed with your sign, there is an opposition. There is a impetus, which is friction, which friction could be in form of a criticism. A friction could be in form of a partner being critical. It could be in form of you not honoring yourself or your ego being challenged in some ways, like somebody says this is possible, but no, you cannot do it, that kind of a thing. So something challenges you. A kite configuration helps you fly higher. It does not leave this into just a feeling. Something physical has to be done to manifest this change, which happens through a sort of a thought process, a discussion, a communication, expression, which happens between 20th to 23rd of June, and then it will be repeated around 12th of July. If you have your rising sun or moon in the first few degrees of Taurus, which is around 22nd of April born, you will see a physical manifestation of this shift, of this vision, of this dream, of this network you want to be a part of this elite group possibly that you want to be part of, which is creative in some ways, which is sort of idealistic in some ways. And you would want to get it right there. The initial degree of Taurus will possibly see the manifestation of this in physical form. But for most of Taurus, this is a 2022 theme. You're seeding something that you are going to grow in 2022. You will have to go back to figure out what needs to change before we get there. This is a vision, the epiphany, the inspiration we were waiting for. And it would come through an interaction to you, or through a friend, or an influence, or a partner, or a client interaction. But you would be left to grow it yourself after this. You're given the vision to influence people through your creativity, through your self-expression, through your spiritual pursuits, through your beautiful imagination, your soulfulness, as you see a glimpse of how much more you can be. You want to make a much bigger impact socially, which is much more emotionally fulfilling for you and goes well beyond the traditional career constraints and rewards of a traditional career. The retreat of Jupiter retrograde till October would have you work on the practical avenues to create this dream, either through exploring very different career paths, healing careers, helping careers, creating careers, getting the right skill set for it, finding the right niche for it, finding out who you can trust, who would be part of your journey, and who is your audience for the product or the service that you're trying to create. It would not be time till early January when you would come out with it and start growing it in public light or in light with others, because right now you would hide it from the world, you will hide it from public eye in some ways, because you want to understand it first. It's like we have a vision, but we want to understand it before we can expose it to social influences and external influences. July would be critical in setting the tone for it. This is what you're creating for 2022 and it's your legacy, but it might require you to go off course for a while as you experiment with different options. During the period of end of June and July, you would also reconsider your friendships, as you would see that your growth in 2022 would come from right circles and influences in your life. You would review where not having the right company or not having the right circle has blocked your progress so far. Certain unreliable associations would be released, or affiliations that tax your good open nature would be left behind, as they don't belong where you're going. So you have sort of outgrown them spiritually and emotionally. Visualize new goals for your future. Goals you so far have not even imagined, as your eyes are to some extent being opened to an aspect of life that you were missing out on for the past decade. Share what you know. Share your words and life with others. All of this needs to be part of your future visions. But share it with the people. Find your niche first, the people who are at the right frequency of who you're becoming. Remember that you will always have low boundaries with your friends and with your associations. So choose your surroundings, your associations, your friends very, very wisely, because they influence the extent of your flight in some ways, the extent of your aim, the extent of your vision, and they will be critical to your growth during the course of 2022. So that's what I have for you, Taurus. I hope this was helpful. I'll see you in the next video now. Thank you.